The autumn leaves crunched softly beneath their feet as Michael and Sarah stood before the weathered wooden doors of their grandfather's garage. It had been 3 months since Grandpa Henry had passed away, and neither of them had found the courage to open this place until now. The old structure stood at the edge of the property, half hidden by overgrown bushes and tangled vines. Its wooden walls had turned a silvery gray over the years, and rust had claimed the metal hinges. Sarah reached out and touched the rough surface, feeling the splinters and grooves worn by time and weather. "Are you ready?" Michael asked quietly, his voice barely above a whisper. Sarah nodded, though her hands trembled slightly. "I think so. It's just, I don't know what we'll find in there." They had so many memories of their grandfather. Sunday dinners filled with his terrible jokes, summer evenings on the porch listening to his stories about the old days, the way he always kept peppermints in his shirt pocket just for them. But this garage had always been off limits, a private sanctuary where Grandpa Henry disappeared for hours at a time. He always said he was working on something important, Sarah remembered, pulling her cardigan tighter against the cool breeze, but he never let anyone inside. Michael examined the heavy padlock hanging from the door. It was old, like everything else, but still firmly in place. Their grandmother had given them the key last week, wrapped in a handkerchief with a note that simply read, "When you're ready." With slightly shaking hands, Michael inserted the key. The lock resisted at first, stiff from years of disuse, but then it clicked open with a sound that seemed too loud in the quiet afternoon. Together they pulled on the wooden doors. The hinges groaned in protest and a shower of rust flakes fell like autumn leaves. The doors swung open slowly, revealing darkness within. A musty smell drifted out, mixed with something else, wood shavings, old paint, and memories. Michael found his phone and turned on the flashlight. The beam cut through the dimness, revealing shapes and shadows that made no sense at first. As their eyes adjusted, they stepped inside. Dust motes danced in the light filtering through cracks in the walls. The garage was larger than it looked from outside, and every inch seemed to be filled with something. "Oh my God," Sarah whispered, her hand flying to her mouth. The walls were lined with shelves, and on every shelf sat wooden toys. Dozens of them. Hundreds, perhaps. Cars and trains, doll houses and rocking horses, puzzles and pull-along ducks. Each one was carved by hand, sanded smooth and painted with care. Some were simple, others incredibly detailed, but all showed the mark of patient craftsmanship. In the center of the garage stood a workbench, still scattered with tools and wood shavings, as if Grandpa Henry had just stepped away for a moment. A half-finished carousel sat in the middle, its tiny horses frozen mid-gallop. Michael moved deeper into the space, his flashlight revealing more wonders. There were notebooks stacked on a corner shelf, their pages filled with sketches and measurements. Cans of paint lined up by color, brushes soaking in cloudy jars of water that had long since evaporated. Sarah picked up a small wooden bear no bigger than her palm. Its fur was carved in delicate detail, each line following the natural grain of the wood. She turned it over and saw something that made her breath catch. On the bottom, in her grandfather's careful handwriting, was a name for Sarah. "Michael," she said softly, her voice breaking, "look." He came over and she showed him. They began searching through the toys then, examining each one more carefully, and they found them. Dozens of toys with their names on them. For Sarah. For Michael. Some were marked with dates going back years, even decades to before they were born. But there were other names too. Names they didn't recognize at first. For Emma at Children's Hospital. For Jose, hope this makes you smile. For the kids at St. Mary's Shelter. Michael found a cardboard box tucked under the workbench. Inside were letters, hundreds of them, from children and parents and hospital staff. Letters of thanks. Letters with drawings. Letters describing how much a simple wooden toy had meant to a sick child. A frightened child, a child who had nothing. "I don't understand," Sarah said, tears streaming freely down her face now. "Why didn't he tell us? Why did he keep this secret?" Michael unfolded one of the letters, dated just 2 months before their grandfather's death. It was from a mother whose daughter had been in the hospital for weeks. She wrote about how her little girl slept clutching the wooden rabbit Grandpa Henry had made, how it was the one thing that comforted her through the painful treatments. "He did this for 40 years, Michael said, his own voice thick with emotion. He held up a photograph that had fallen from the box. It showed a younger Grandpa Henry, surrounded by smiling children at what looked like a hospital ward, each child holding one of his wooden creations. Sarah sank down onto an old stool, still clutching the wooden bear. All those hours he spent out here, all those times we thought he was just hiding from Grandma's nagging or escaping the noise of family gatherings. He was making toys for sick children, for children who had nothing. They sat together in the dusty garage as the afternoon light grew longer and softer. Around them, the wooden toys seemed to come alive in the shifting shadows, each one a small miracle of love and patience. He was always so humble, Michael said finally. Remember how he'd wave off any compliment? How he'd change the subject whenever anyone praised him? Sarah nodded, remembering. Their grandfather had been a simple man, or so they'd thought. A retired postman who lived in a small house, wore old flannel shirts and drove a truck that had seen better days. But here, in this forgotten garage, was the truth of who he really was. He made these for us too, Sarah said, looking at the toys with their names. He was building a collection for when we had children of our own. The thought made fresh tears spring to her eyes. Grandpa Henry had been planning for a future he wouldn't see, making gifts for great-grandchildren he would never meet, because that was simply who he was, a man who gave without expectation, who loved without needing recognition. As the sun began to set, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink, Michael and Sarah made a decision. They would continue their grandfather's work. They would learn the craft he'd perfected over decades. They would make sure every child who needed comfort, who needed hope, who needed to know that someone cared, would receive one of Grandpa Henry's wooden toys. And they would tell his story. Not to glorify him, he would have hated that, but to honor the quiet truth, that one person, working patiently in a forgotten garage, can touch hundreds of lives without ever seeking praise or recognition. Sarah held the wooden bear close to her heart as they finally left the garage, leaving the door open now, letting light and air flow freely through the space that had held so much love. Thank you, Grandpa, she whispered to the evening air. We understand now. We finally understand. And somewhere she felt certain he was smiling,